So today we're going to talk about speeches of narrative definition. Narrative definition is kind of a fancy phrase for stories. Narrative means stories. It comes from the Latin verb narrare, to weave, because stories weave together different strands of experience to make a point. So a speech of narrative definition is a speech that uses a story to define something. And this is a technique that's widely used by speakers who use anecdotes as a way of explaining a point or a way of persuading an audience or making an argument. So to get us started on this speech of narrative definition, notice that if I say, how many of you have had a great teacher? It's so easy, right? Great teachers that we've had in the past, they often spring right to mind. You can name one, you can name two, you can name three. So that's an interesting thing. Why are the really great teachers so much at the surface of our memory? Why are they so easy to memory to think about, to remember? Why do they spring so rapidly to mind? It's kind of an interesting question. But we're going to use that ease of recollection as a tool. And the speech of narrative definition that we're going to prepare this week is a speech about a great teacher. So I'm going to ask you to go back to that memory and think more. And we're going to craft speeches that are 2 to 5 minutes long. 3 to 5 minutes long. We're aiming for 4 minutes. The speeches have to be 3 in order to earn credit, and they may not be more than 5. And part of the exercise, part of this work, is really getting a sense of timing. How much is 3 minutes? What's it feel like to talk for 4 minutes? How much content, how much reflection, how much writing would we do to create a piece that is of that size and of that scale? So I think the best way to get into this is for me just to give you an example of a kind of speech that we might be looking for. So give me a second to get my head. Oh, great teacher, great teacher. I'm going to warm up really quickly. I'm going to shake my bones awake. Make sure one side of my body, the other side of my body. I'm getting my body ready, my breath going on. I'm shaking my bones awake. I'm getting my energy at the ready for a speech. My body's going to do something wonderful, and we really need this instrument. So even when you guys are video recording, even if you're working alone or with 1 or 2 partners to help you with the recording and the camera, take the time, teach them the warm-up so you can all have fun together, make some noise, go someplace where you won't be disturbing people, although it always feels weird. I've warmed up in showers, I've warmed up in bathroom stalls, in hotels, I've warmed up in parking lots, anywhere I can go where people aren't going to arrest me for my particular style of lunacy. Okay, so let me go off camera. Here we go. I had a really great teacher in 3rd grade, and her name was Miss Levine. I think I was in love with Miss Levine. And maybe most 8-year-old boys in 3rd grade fall in love with their 3rd grade teachers. But Miss Levine was particularly easy to fall in love with. She was glamorous, and she wasn't like a teacher we'd never seen before. We had old teachers in kindergarten and 1st grade and 2nd grade. And Miss Levine came in the first day, and she was young. She had beautiful long black hair, and she was made up to the nines. I'm talking like a blue chalky eyeshadow, mascara, frosted pink lipstick, and a short mini skirt and go-go boots. We had never seen anything like this. And she was very, very nice and very energetic and very fun. It was her first year of teaching. She just graduated. We were her very first class of all time. And Third grade was very important. We had to learn how to read. That's a very essential task in third grade. And in New York State, there was a huge test at the end of the year to guarantee that the readings levels were okay. So Miss Levine's entire reputation, her assessment was based on our reading scores. And so she came and she said, boys and girls, if you work very hard and study for this big reading test and do well, I will take the whole class to a pool party at my parents' condominium complex. We were sort of surprised that our teacher had parents. We didn't know what a condominium complex was, but pool party. Oh my goodness, when I was 8 years old, the notion of going swimming was probably just the best thing that could ever happen to 8-year-old boys and girls. And of course, what happens, we did study well and we all passed. We did very good grades on the reading test. And at the end of the year, we hopped into a bus. We ran off to Henrietta to this apartment complex with I still remember like a chicken wire fence around it, and a pool, and these two very sweet Jewish parents who were so happy to see us, and we were so excited. We had a great time, and I still remember she served pink peppermint stick ice cream was our special treat at the pool party, and I'd never had pink peppermint ice cream. A, it was delicious. I never had it. B, and C, it perfectly matched this frosted shade of pink lipstick that Miss Levine wore. So who knew you could color coordinate your food to your outfit? Miss Levine was wonderful. And I think as I reflect back on who she was and how she was the first teacher I ever had that took us out of the school. When we went to that condominium, when we met her parents, when we partied with pink ice cream and pool water, it was like we were real people. We were acknowledged as human beings, not just as students. She made us feel like $1,000,000 because Miss Levine was a great teacher who made us feel like people, not just students, real people. So, what do you think? Do you think she was a great teacher? Applause! So, I don't know how many minutes that was. Maybe you can see on the video. I think it may have been a little on the long side. Kirk is known for being long-winded. But it was around 4 to 5 minutes, around the time frame that you're looking for. And the example of the Miss Levine and the pink peppermint stick ice cream is also an example of all the things we want in a speech of narrative definition. So notice some of the points real quickly. First of all, there was a very clear purpose statement. I had a great teacher. We know right away this is a speech talking about great teachers. Audiences really appreciate when the purpose of a speech is clear up front and not something we have to guess. So there's a clear purpose statement. I named the teacher because we like that. And the next thing that we want to see in these speeches is we want some telling details. I talk a lot about sensory-specific details. And you know a detail is specific when you can perceive it with one of your senses, when you can see it, hear it, taste, touch, or smell. So thinking back on the speech, you know right away I used details of her appearance in this speech to stimulate the parts of your brain that have perception connections. So I talked about her being glamorous. Well, that's descriptive, but it's not sensory specific. Then I got sensory specific. Long black hair, I can see it. Blue eyeshadow, pink lipstick, their outfit, short skirt and go-go boots. Those are things that as an audience you can easily bring into your mind's eye. And doing that engages audiences with another level of attention. So we always want to include details. They can be details about the person. They can be details about the context that we were in. You can talk about the rooms or the context or the world. So they don't have to, anything that will stimulate senses are examples of sensory specific details. And you want to include these richly in when you're reflecting and writing these speeches. All right, the next thing that we include is an anecdote. A little part of a story. I was in third grade. There was a reading test. We did well, and as a result of the test and doing well, we were invited to a pool party. So there is anecdotes are a specific event, a happening, some kind of plot, a before, an action, and an after. They have all kinds of form. There's wide variety, but we want to hear about something specific. We don't want to just go on and on about, oh, I loved her, she was so great, she was so great, she was so great. If she was great, if he was great, what's a time that it was demonstrated? What's a specific an event, a conversation, a challenge, a triumph? We really want to hear about a specific anecdote that puts action into our assertion of greatness. So there's a purpose statement, there's details, and the anecdote. And notice there's all kinds of variations that you can do. These are very wide and open sort of requirements. This is much more open-ended than our professional introduction speech. But then the last thing that's really important is a bumper sticker version, a very, very clear ending. I use the term bumper sticker, a phrase that's so clear and so short that we could stick it on the back of our car as a bumper. She was a great teacher because she made us feel like real people. That's a bumper sticker version. She was a great teacher. He was a great teacher because ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Now there's lots of reasons that she was great, but you as the speaker have the responsibility, the challenge of boiling it down into the focus that you want us to hold on to. So that bumper sticker version is really important. She's a great teacher, details, anecdote, and then it's like the great teacher, and you can even use that phrase. She was a great teacher because ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. You may even repeat it. I think I said it 2 or 3 times before I got the really clear bumper sticker version. Of all the things that you might write in preparation for this speech, the bumper sticker version is often the one that most benefits from careful reflection and crafting, so that the focus that you want the audience to take away is very clear. If you're effective with this speech, and I were to ask the audience at the end, she was a great teacher because, if you're really effective, the audience will say almost word for word the bumper sticker that you had given them. That's a real sign of a speech that's thoughtfully organized and crafted with that kind of precision at the end. So your job this week is to, first of all, your discussion boards will have written versions, your first attempts. These are 300 to 500 word reflections about a great teacher, and you're going to post those so the others can read them as well. It's a great way to crowdsource what we're looking for, what the criteria are. So as you post and read each other's great teacher reflections, that's going to be a really important part of your reading this week. Read all of them if you can. You don't have to respond to all of them, but look at what details get you. Look at what stories captivate you. Use each other as kind of as a research for honing, refining, extending, elaborating your own thoughts about your own great teacher speech. So after you've read a bunch of those should be posted by Wednesday. So then you've got the rest of the week to go back to your great teacher reflections and craft the video. And I recommend that you don't, it's okay to write out a script, but it's not okay to use a script. Writing out a speech is great. It really focuses our brains. But Reading a written speech sucks. Audiences hate it. We hate when we can see you reading, and I'll elaborate on that in a later video. But mostly it's because we like when people speak from the heart, and when you're reading a script, it gets in the way of us connecting directly with the audience, of using our eyes and our attention to look like we're talking to people, like we care about them. So you may write as a kind of preparation, but when you deliver the speech on video, lose the script. You can, sometimes it helps people to have like bullet points after the speech has been written, to reduce it. It's just a couple details that help you find your way through the phrases, the details that you've thought of. That's something you can prop up in front of you, use it someplace off as a teleprompter. You can see how I write stuff up here. Boom, 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 boom. I just have a couple words to help guide my thinking through the 4 things I want to do. That really helps. Saying it out loud several times helps before you video record. Things I would like you to be mindful of with this recording. I'd like you to be standing. I'd like you to be mindful of the clothes, the hair, the makeup, how it reads in the frame. I'd like you to work carefully to get the lighting to be as strong as you can, to look for a quiet and still background. You'll notice that I'm wearing a solid black shirt, which gives my hands a beautiful background when I'm gesturing, and doesn't distract from my face and my words. I'm not so sure when I teach in live stuff. I always wear a blazer with a tie because it calms and gives authority to my frame. My white hair is all the authority I need. But you're not a 59-year-old white guy. So use your body, use your wardrobe, use your styling mindfully. There's no right or wrong way, but I want you to become increasingly aware of how you look in the frame and how you read to the audience. As we go video by video, the criteria that our expectations go up higher and higher. You'll notice that when I'm standing here, I have the ability to walk in and walk away from the camera. That's an interesting way of giving emphasis. Well, I'm right in your face. That's really different than when you have a head to frame shot. So I have gesticulatory ability. When I'm back from the frame, you can see my hands working. If you don't know what to do with your hands, you can just hold them like this. They'll never stay that way, and your natural gestures will come to be at better service of your thought. So we'll talk more about all these things, but one of the best ways to learn about these is to notice. What you pay attention to grows. So pay attention to my gestures, to the gestures that you're going to see in videos next week. Okay, anecdotal definition, great teacher speech. Get to work. You'll post these videos as an assignment by the end of the week, and we'll be looking at these videos next week. So keep that in mind as well. See you next time.